Welcome everybody to Tough Times. I hope you can hear me okay. Last time, for the first little bit, it was a little tough, but today we've got everything hooked up really nice. Mic is close to my face. My name is Misbah Hawk, and you are?
How's everybody doing? I'm Ryan Rinz. You already know that. Here with my compadre Misbah.
Compadre.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm using compadre. I've never used that word.
It.
I've never used that word other than here right now and the last episode 1. But
dude,
now...
how cool is it that from the last episode we've had a couple people already say something to us like, yo, I
enjoy that. I do enjoy that.
Dude, that was cool because people are referencing certain parts of the episode that I totally forgot we talked about. Like a 9/11 joke. We made a 9/11 joke on film.
It's good, but remind the people of that.
Yeah, so definitely check out the first one. I don't know, man. I think this is going to get better and better each time. Look at this. You've got a new table, I'm pretty sure, compared to last time.
It's only up from here.
Yeah.
And it's just going to continue to grow. I mean, like, look at this table actually on screen. It looks beautiful. It looks amazing.
It does. It's official. What's going on this week that's been tough? Anything crazy?
I mean, we could just start off with today. Holy
let's talk about what
crap. That was I bombed hard tonight. And let me tell you something here. I bombed because I felt like I was going to crush. And when you feel like you're going to crush, you're most likely going to bomb. And
it's so
as soon as Misbah pulled up, I was like walking, I was doing paces in the house. I had a beer in my hand. And I was like already a couple beers deep. And then Misbah picked me up, and then we cruised on over there. He texted Cisco, told him we were going to be late. We ended up showing up late. And it turns out we showed up late, and there had already been like a few comics gone, and he had to skip over us.
Well, that's the thing, because in my message I was like, yo, we're gonna get there right after signups, like right at this time. And I was sure we're gonna get there too, because we left on time here. But we didn't use the GPS, and Ryan thinks he knows all the directions. He's like, hey, take this road, just take it all the way down, I'm pretty sure it's faster. Bro, we went through like some national park, we saw where George Washington lived, and then we finally get there. It's like 6:50, and we get the whole room's packed, first of all, which is the other thing that throws
There's
us
a red
off,
flag,
right?
yeah.
We're like, wow, okay, there's a lot of people here tonight, what's going on? Go up. Apparently, dude, he was so nice. He had us up like 3rd, 4th, 5th, something like that.
Where we like to be.
Yeah.
I love to go up early, and I think Cisco knows that. I think he knows I like to do early because I'm not thinking about my thing the whole night.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed what Misbah did there, but he used me as a scapegoat there, and he put it on film. He said, yeah, so like Ryan had me going through Valley Forge. Hey man, sorry, I wanted to go for a little historical, drive through Valley Forge. I think it was one of those things where you pull up the GPS and it's a similar ETA.
It was one of those.
It's like choose your own adventure book.
And then you shut off the GPS, and that's where the mistake happens. You just gotta leave.
Yeah, man, we were too deep in our conversation. I said, make a right on Star Street, and you were like...
Yeah, that's the thing. I missed it. Yeah.
Buchanan.
So, all right, whatever. Tomato, tomato. We show up a little late. We're, like, embarrassed because we definitely missed our spot. And then we're like...
I asked Misbah. I said, hey, Misbah, when are we up? Because you spoke with Cisco, and you just go... I told him to put us up later, and I was like,
I thought you could hear the conversation.
I couldn't hear anything, man. I had a mask on, you had a mask on. It's like, my mouth is covered, my ears are closed, and I was just like, I had no idea what time I was going up. And then I said, so then I turned to Cisco.
You're like, why would you say that?
Dude, so I turned to Cisco, and I said, Cisco, when I said, who's up next? And he just goes, Neil. And I said, oh. Okay, so that means we're up way later then.
You asked
so then
that?
When I asked him that, I said, okay, that means we're up way later. So then I went and sat down. I even locked in a little bit. I ordered like a shot. I had a beer.
Ryan,
I had a White Claw.
Yeah.
I ordered a pizza.
You got a pizza. You settled down into the night. And I was like, dude, be ready. They're like, we might. I said, this is at that point when we've made the embarrassing mistake of missing the spot. We're like, all right. I said, hey man, put us up later. Don't worry about it. Put us up later. Because we can't be divas rolling in there, right? So I'm like, hey, it's fine. We'll hang out, right? So we settle down, and I'm like, but dude, honestly, he might squeeze us in. Like, what if he puts us up early? Like, he doesn't have to, but he might. And Ryan's like,
you gave me the whole, like, you're like a parent getting your kids ready for school. You're like, hey, the bus says 8:15, but it might get here a little early, a little later. We don't know yet. Just be ready.
Yeah, eat your
eggs.
eggs.
And, like, I was the kid that was like, Right, Mom. And I'm like chilling there watching TV, a little Saved by the Bell before the bus came. And what do you know? I missed the bus. Now Mom's going to drive me to school.
Yup. And Ryan's name gets called.
While we're like mid-conversation. I think it was like mid-sip of a White Claw. And then I was like, oh, spit that. I couldn't even finish the sip. I spit the sip back into the can, put it down, went up on stage. And it was just like, man. And I knew I was going to bomb as soon as I got up there and grabbed the microphone. Because I grabbed the microphone and I just looked into the abyss of the crowd and I said, holy shit. I am hammered right now. I made that self-actualization there. It's good to have that. And I definitely realized I was hammered. And I was like, man, this is not going to go well. And like after I said that in my head, I was like, man, you're not even recording this, man. And then I just like started to fumble through my set. And then like I also had no clue that we only had 4 minutes. So I had a 5-minute set planned in my head, and I'm like hitting different parts, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, cool, man, I got like 2 to 3 minutes left probably, and then bang, out of nowhere, Steve's there with the light, and I'm like, wow, my life is over here, because I'm not finishing this story with 1 minute.
What was the best was, like, when he brought you up, he was like, oh, he wasn't here earlier, like he is now. You know, when you hear the host say that, you're like, yo, he definitely called our name when we weren't there, and like it was just crickets, you know, like he thought we were there. Yeah. So anyways, that happens. I know at this point I'm next because, or I could be next. I wish, right?
And like the whole way there too, we planned it out in the car. I was like, Misbah, it's gonna be great, man. You're gonna follow me. You're gonna do some shit within my set. I'm gonna do some shit within your set. It's gonna be a great time.
Dude, there's nothing like a story that's being told about you up there. And then, but this time, and here to give context.
Oh no!
Was last week? Did we talk about this last week?
I don't know.
No, I don't think we did.
But he's up there telling a story, and we're like, man, I wonder who this next comic is. And then he was like, oh, it's me.
It's me. And here's the thing: it was crushing. Like last week, it crushed, and it was like, oh my god, I think you found something.
What,
right?
my set?
Yeah, that story too. Also,
but like part of me was like, I had to be calculated. I had to be ready, and I wasn't ready.
Yeah, because I do think there is something.
I was ready, but like I wasn't.
Yeah, and there is something fun to like the
4 minutes threw me off. You lose a minute on your set, that's gonna throw you off.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully I knew.
Yeah, of course you knew that after I went. This man proceeded to put bullets in me after I had already been destroyed. You know, I had already died and gone off into a different valley, and people had already started to forget about me. And then Misbah's end of his set was going really bad. Then he said, you know what? Let me blend this in with Ryan's set. He said, hopefully this was better than the last comic.
Dude, it did get a good laugh.
Oh, dude, it crushed. I think somebody even said, man, you should close with that every time. I was like, God damn it.
Dude, that was great. But the thing I realized was, like, I can't do that with any other comic. You know what I mean? I'd get beaten up off stage afterwards. That would just be weird energy, but...
You can get away with it. It's just, like, selective on who you choose.
Yeah, you got to be kind of, like, cool with
I think it'd be funnier if it was, like... You could do it if it's, like, a really bad comic or a really, really good comic.
Yes.
No in-betweeners,
yes.
You know?
Yes, I think so. I think you're right.
So, tonight, you know, you went with the really, really, really good comic, right?
Yeah. Dude, tonight was nice, though. I'm really glad, because the other spot that we were thinking about going to...
Well, real quick, something that I like to notice when we go to mics like this and we don't do well is, like, I like to hang around and look for the other comics that normally do well and see how they do. Like, Yoder did well. Yoder had a good set tonight.
Oh, he had a great
set, you know? And then I was like, oh, man, I really bombed. And then... yeah, right?
Dude, yeah, and especially... Well, here's the thing, because you're seeing... And we talked about this last time a little bit, but you're seeing a lot of the same comics, right? Depending on what mic you are.
You don't want to recycle the same things.
Right, but you have to work on...
It's very talented that you're able to hone that. Like Yoder can. Yoder was doing it.
That's what I'm saying. Is Yoder did
the numbness. Stuff we've heard. It's the numbness. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to you guys not listening to my shit. I have crowds.
That's the thing, too. There was a crowd tonight. There were definitely some real people in the crowd.
That was very enjoyable. I really like to show up to a mic and you're like, wow, it's packed in here. This is cool.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it was...
I just got to drink a little less.
For me, I wanted to, like... I definitely chickened out because I started working on some... Like, I was like, all right, I'm going to try... I'm not the guy who, like, writes on stage, right? I don't say, like, oh, I'm just going to go work it out. It's like I have an idea of what it's fleshed out enough where I'm like, okay, I can take it up and I'm not going to, like, I'm gonna bomb, but it's not gonna be a terrible bomb, right? But tonight I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, I'm gonna just try these. I'm gonna explore it, and I go up there and I do like one or two. It's not, it's clearly not working, and then I'm like, fuck it. I got a minute. I can't just bomb. Like I can't just keep bombing, because now it's like they've been waiting. Especially after you went and he referenced that, where he's like, "Oh, that was worth the wait." I was like, "Oh, something's coming for me,"
Shit on me.
So I was like, "Okay." I ended up doing something I knew would work. It worked, and then I tagged it with that. I hope that was better than the last guy, and that actually seemed to save me. So I got through by the skin of my teeth. I feel
skin of your teeth. This is the second week in a row you've used an abbreviation where I am lost at what you're doing there with that. The skin
enamel,
of your teeth?
Ryan, enamel.
Enamel is skin?
It could be. Metaphor.
Very interesting metaphor. Very interesting choice of metaphorical words there.
What is it actually by this?
The skin of your teeth? I don't know. You used it. You're asking me what it is after you used it?
What is it? That is
I don't know.
saying.
Hey, I would hope that if that's the saying, it's a very weird one that has never come out of this mouth.
Right? What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
By the skin of your
teeth? I don't know.
That is the saying.
It's not my saying.
You're saying it like I'm the first person who ever said this.
I'm just saying I've never heard of it.
Well,
the skin of your teeth.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't make sense.
It makes a little bit more sense if you're like, oh, the skin of my foot.
You know what, Ryan? A lot of what we say makes no sense. Very rarely do we say something that
to shift gears.
Yeah.
A few more tough times that we've ran into.
Okay, yeah. That was a tough time, number one.
Right?
Definitely a big one.
Something else that we ran into this week, I feel like we've been going to a lot of mics, and we're doing a lot of sitting around. We're doing a lot of supporting. I call it ghost supporting, where you sit around for like 5 hours and then you just ghost out of the room without even doing a set. You're like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, you're so drained from the whole night. And like nowhere specific, but I mean, like I've been to a few where it's just like I've driven like 45 minutes, gotten there, energy's high, 3 hours go by.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna crush tonight. This guy is hot.
Yeah, and you're conversating with tons of comics that are your friends too, and you're having a great time. And then just out of nowhere, you just get hit with the dagger, man, of the host.
Yeah, you're like.
Doesn't matter who it is. I mean, there's a few different ones, but I mean, man, it's brutal.
Here's what I will preface that with, because I'm not somebody who minds hanging around for the thing, supporting.
You're an Iron Man. You're an Iron Man for that.
Right, I know. Like, I don't mind making the drive, hanging out, but it's like it's got to be worth it for what it is and the spot that it is.
100%.
With how good the room is. Like, if you're a big, really famous club in a city, of course that makes sense. There's a lot of people coming there.
You're showboating a little.
But if you're a place that thinks you're the hottest club in town,
there's more comics than audience members. First of all,
you're all friends.
There's very little
right
audience members there.
And I, here's the other thing with that. I think the value of the audience members at, like, especially at mics, right, should be comics who are actually paying attention and listening. What you want out of an audience member, even if it's real people, is like, oh, they show up, they pay attention, they listen, you get a genuine reaction, right? A lot, like, there's rooms that, I mean, that one that we're talking about, probably, I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That one where it's not like people who are like hanging out outside, they don't pay attention to anybody else's set. They're the ones that are getting, and I get it. They're further along. You let them go up. But there's got to be something for the person who sat through and paid attention, didn't talk in the back, right? Didn't fuck around. Like, there's a lot of people.
And that's my thing. I mean, like, personally, I might not be the guy that's like as good as you with that, but I'm there doing what you're doing. And like some of the situations, I mean, situationally, I mean, like, dude, you'll be standing there and like you're looking like a puppy in a lineup of brand new puppies, and somebody's coming to grab a new dog, and you're just standing there. And
when they eye contact.
Yeah, and they make eye contact with you, and they walk by you, and they don't even acknowledge you, and you're just like, whoa, that was different.
Do you know what's similar to that? What reminded me? I'm not going to mention the name of the club, but it's a big club, another state, right? And the way they book there is like you show up every week, right?
I know what you're talking about.
This guy who's the booker, he walks around and he does one of these. He looks at you and you're like, oh, is he looking at me? Is he gonna come over to me? Like, and then, like,
you're nervous. You're like a kid. Like, oh, is this cute girl gonna come talk to me?
He's like, hey, next week, are you good? You're on next week. Or he gives you a date, and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, of course I'm good, right? But it's that feeling of like you're waiting to be picked. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, it's
and
like the claw in Toy Story. The claw.
Yeah.
You know, you're like,
Yeah.
is he going to get us? Ah.
Right. And, you know, there's some people where that's cool, but there's other people where it's like, you're not the claw. You know, like, why are you acting
like... Who put you in charge of this? Like, and then it's just like I said to you, the best analogy I could find for this was like, I mean, they even divide the mic sometimes where it's like some comics get more time and some get less. And it's just like,
right.
It's like a parent having 2 children and one of the children gets $5 a week and the other one gets $3. And sometimes the kid who gets $3 often loses $1. The kid doing $5 because he's got to spend a minute trying to climb the room back down to being able to even try to get some jokes off in that room. And that's when I say, you know, that's when I turned to you at 1 o'clock last week and I said, hey, Misbah, it was almost more beneficial. Last week, I don't know if you remember, I was trying to get Misbah to go out to Bowers. We ended up not going to Bowers. And the whole time, I mean, after we waited around, and he had a very good logic too, and he was like, yo, man, I live in the city. Why don't we go to Mike's in the city? And I was like, you got a good point there, buddy. So we went to the Mike in the city, and then right around 1 a.m., I turned to Misbah. You know what I said to you?
Yeah, I remember.
What did I say?
Sleep would be more beneficial than this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
And, bro, it's true.
Well, we could have went to Bowers and back, still been sitting in the camaraderie of that room, and still may not have gone up. We're hearing they have they actually have like a crazy capacity now where it's like, yo, you guys should have already reformatted this mic and put it into a format where it's like lottery or it's like...
That's what gives me
lottery.
The
I like unbiased microphones. I like paying $5 and then they pick out of a hat or they like...
Yep.
The host doesn't even know who you are, and they're putting the list together in an order that you've never even heard of. And you're like, wow, that was so unbiased. How can I be angry at anyone?
Exactly.
You can't be angry at anyone.
Can't. And
you can't.
Here's the problem is when you justify, like, oh, there's so many comics, and that's why we're getting up people that are known or that go up for, like, because of the volume of people, if that's an excuse of why somebody keeps getting bumped or why they go late or whatever, it's like, why are you giving the first 2 hours of the show 5 minutes and then it's automatically 3 and it's 2 for people you don't like? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
honestly.
If you don't like somebody, you're right. And if you're not killing it how they want you to, you're getting way less time.
Right. And so if that's like, I can't, what bothers me is that is one of the excuses.
That's why I personally do not go up when I'm at any mic, and I don't like to address the room if it's like, I don't like to spend any time addressing the situation.
Because sometimes
you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time then at that point because you've been waiting around for 5 hours to do your 5 minutes or your 3 minutes or your 2 minutes. And if you spend any fraction of that time bitching or complaining, you've wasted your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in hindsight, it's not even worth complaining about. And that's why you don't hear us complain about it too often, except for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, again, because I'm kind of like, it's worth it. I'll go places. I'll drive 2 hours. Yeah. I'll get on a bus. I'll wait the hours that you need to. But it has to be, there's got to be some light at the end of the tunnel. Very
beneficial. It's got to have an end game. It's got to have an end goal. It's got to be like all towards the common goal that we're leading up to at the end of the day.
Like, at least I might... Like, that concept of, like, oh...
It's just funny where you can transfer that time, you know? It's like, use the analogy of $1.
Yeah.
This $1 could buy me anything at the dollar store. But if you're using your 5 hours, right? And you take that 5 hours and you put it somewhere else, and you're like, wow, I could have driven to New York, looked for 2 mics there, and drove back. Bro. All in that 5-hour window, Misbah, on Thursday. We could have done that. I know. Because money's not an object to getting to New York. We can get there. We have cars. We have automobiles.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, here's the thing is...
And that's where we're going Sunday. Misbah was there last Sunday. We're going this Sunday.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yep, New York. Yeah. We need to be back. We were there before the pandemic, and now we're going back after.
It was... Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Next episode, probably. Yeah. I mean, we're getting to the end here. We got about another 2 minutes here.
Oh, we do? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up soon.
What did I want to say? I wanted to say something about this because I agree with you. The lottery thing, like, put your names in a bucket. Mm-hmm. That's
time being more beneficial.
Or, at the very least, put the list out and show us the list. That's
You're right,
the part
man.
where they fuck you.
Yeah, because we're getting to part 3, part 4, part 9 of their microphone, and it's just like you're going up to him and you're like, "Hey, man, am I getting up anytime soon?" You know, and he's just like, oh, "I'm not done building the list yet," and you're like, "You're not done building the list."
But you know why
It's
they
1
do
a.m. in the
that?
morning.
Yeah, and you know why they do that? Because you're gonna
Because
want
we'll
you to stay.
leave, man. Yeah.
We'll leave.
We're the supportive ones that stick around.
Yeah, but here's what bothers me. I know it sounds like I'm bitching from
We're
this
bitching.
one night. We are bitching, but I have, if when you go to a place and you've been a great audience member, you've put good energy into the room, you're not being a dick, you're checking off all the right boxes, right? You've done it multiple times,
And you're working. You're working stuff. You're working on something.
right? Yeah, and
You're trying to take that somewhere.
yeah, and there's still no, like there was one time, that spot I went to where like, remember they skipped the whole, like I waited the whole night, and I didn't even get, all right, well that's our last comic for the night, and they bring up somebody else, and you're like, wait, what?
Even I went that night.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre because, like, you at the time, I think, were a bigger name in that room than I was still. I mean, like, you know, you still are, but, like, at the time,
Yeah,
it was just like, yo, even I was like, how are they not going to give you respect here?
And it's not...
And the way they threw it together, too, to make everyone stick around, and it's like, dude, you didn't even want to do your set at that point, because it's like, dude, I'm making everyone stick around.
When other people come in, who 2-3 hours into it, who haven't been waiting, they haven't been around, and
fresh off the streets,
fresh
walk
off
right
the
in,
streets,
get a
walk
set,
in,
dap,
you get
dap,
to go up.
and then they're out.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Again, this is.
I see nothing wrong with that because we do it all the time.
Yeah, this is a common practice, a dynamic that exists in every city in the comedy world, wherever there's a gatekeeper, right? And if it's at a big club, it's at a big venue where you've got, you know, great crowds, you're pulling people. There's a reason that is what it is. Cool. If that's how you want to do it, great. But if you're not that, and you're trying to, and yeah, if you're trying, but really at the end of the day, you're just being an asshole to everybody who comes to that room, and it's a power trip. You know what I mean? It really is this power dynamic of like.
It doesn't take very much to send people off on that either.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I've also because of this thing where you're like, oh, you know what? It's not like I'll just keep going. It's whatever. I'm gonna go back. I have done that where like you go back and back.
I know, and it's so hard. I had to like try to convince you too. It took me 2 mics. I went to 2 mics without you, and I was like, yo, man, I got burnt. Like I didn't get put up right away. But it was like, not that I was expecting to be put up right away, but it was to be put up in a reasonable amount of time. You know, it's like yo, man, like when there's 2 people left sitting in these seats, I don't want to be here anymore.
It's really the thing of like
it hurts.
The people who run it, you've got a lot of friends. Your friend rolls in, you immediately see him go up, and then you're like, "Wow, I've been standing for 3 hours. You're not even sitting. You're standing there
in a tight space,
just listening. You know what I mean? And that drains you too. Like after 2 hours of comedy,
because like not everyone's crushing it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Not everyone's crushing it. It's very rare. It might be like 1 in 10, 1 in 15. You might get a laugh every like 1 hour at an open mic. It's brutal.
Right.
I've had friends say, "Hey Ryan, where are you doing comedy at? Let me come down." And I'm like, dude, no.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I'm not putting you through that because you don't know. You don't know what you're getting into when you go to an open microphone. It's brutal.
Yeah.
We'll be
Anyways,
back.
that was a big rant. For this week,
you and I both, man. We were both pretty bottled up with the tough times.
Yeah, a lot of tough times.
A lot of tough times, and more to come. Because this is only episode 2, and we got plenty more coming. Every Monday at 11 o'clock.
Let's do it.
11?
11 a.m. or p.m.?
I don't know. You were more of a 4 a.m. guy. I said, Misbah, we should pick a time. Consistency. Yeah. And he was like, 4 a.m., man. I was like, dude, what are you waking up at 4 a.m. to lean over and touch your phone? He was like, dude. You just set a reminder. Set a reminder, and it sets it automatically. And I was like, "Dude, that's cool, man. Like, how old am I?
I can't believe you made that statement. You're like, "When you wake up at 4?" I was like, "You could just." I was like, dead serious too. Man.
You're like, you can just schedule it to drop at 4. I was like,
but I mean, maybe we'll go by the listeners if listeners have a preferred
Misbah's big shit now. He's got an assistant, you know. Opened for Chuck Nice, and now it's straight to the top.
No, we're gonna come back, and we're like, if I think we should get people to reach out and throw us a bone. Throw us what you want to hear.
Throw us a bone.
Yeah.
I love your analogies, man. That's another one there. Throw us a bone. What would you and I do with a bone?
I love
If
how
somebody actually threw us a bone, what are we doing with it?
I love how Ryan's making the Indian guy feel like his analogies are not American. You're like, throw me a bone.
Throw me a bone. Throw me a bone.
You have a
you
dog,
throw a
too.
dog a bone. You know, you throw a dog a
never heard
bone.
this-
You throw a
this
dog a bone.
analogy?
He catches it.
Oh,
You throw me a
gosh.
bone. I'm like, yo, where's the chicken part of this?
Dude, tough.
You know, give me some tikka. Give me some tikka masala. Whatever. What is it?
Yeah, it is. It's tikka masala.
Tikka? That's with the bone?
Tikka masala can come without the bone.
I love how
yeah.
you threw a little emphasis on the tikka. You're
Yeah.
like, tikka.
Yeah.
Sounds like I should check the meat before I cook it.
That's a good question, Ryan. I don't know, actually. I think it comes with both.
Dude, the guy at the restaurant was telling me, he's like, one is without
Yeah, chicken tandoori. That might be the one.
tandoori.
With bone,
I think
yeah.
tandoori's with the bone. That is
Yeah.
correct. There it is.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, you'll see it below in the words. Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, are we wrapping up?
Yeah, we'll just wrap this up.
This was fun. This
too
was
long.
great. Thank you for supporting. If you are, you're an early adopter.
Thanks for watching. You know, we're going to be brought to you everywhere. We might even end up somewhere else, you know, because we have a green screen here. Haven't figured out how to use it yet, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's nice for now. I mean, I hope the table, you guys appreciate that. That's a big upgrade.
Yeah.
And we're working on some other things. So,
Yeah, thanks for watching. Tune in next week at 11.
good luck. And we hope you don't have any tough times between now and next week.
I feel like you should have had a catchphrase there, you know, because you have all these analogies. You should have been like, tough times and always prosper, you know, something like that,
Yeah.
like a catchphraise. I don't know.
We'll catch you again when the times are tough.
We'll
like
work on
times
that.
are
That's good. Yeah, that's a good one. That was very good on the
Times
fly.
are tough.
I don't have anything like that, but that was very good. We'll go with that.
Yeah, let's.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.